Okay, so I said this today in my living room, and I 100% believe and hope that I was recorded when I did, but I'm gonna say it again right now and put it out because it's important that everything until these last couple of days, like I've been really upset that no one informed me of shit, but I'm honestly happy right now, and I would not retroactively inform myself. I was saying I would not retroactively inform myself because of how I feel now. I feel great. I've had this amazing experience, and this screen recorder might make me separate this into jumps because it likes to cut off, but I'm going to read something that I just wrote. This is pretty much stream of consciousness, but it's like 20 paragraphs or so of just how I feel right now, and what it's based on. What happened the other day. I was walking down the Alawai Canal and I fell in the water, and I seriously like changed my perspective. Like I fell in the water, and it was interesting. It took me a minute because but then in my memory I kept going back to the canal that I fell into, and it made me happy. It got me to remember someone that I knew 5 years ago who took immediate attraction to me, and then I was really scared and I kind of ran off and ghosted her and was a fool because the fact is I was trapped at the time, and I kind of had to, she had an impression of me that was false, and I am now able to be that, but I was not at the time. So anyway, here's how I feel. I would go into more detail about that, but I want to talk about that more with her. That's not the app I open. In fact, I didn't click it at all. I don't know where it came from. All right. She was so hot I had to talk to her. She invited me to the club. Amazing, fantastic, wow, incredible. And then the next day, I'm so scared of her because she knows way more than me, and I'm really fucking dumb. So I stopped talking to her, and that was a mistake. But I'm back. Whew, I would absolutely love to commission an EP album from the studying artist Amina, and one of the best artists. We can have the best of everything. We have the technology, and she is smart AF. And I also feel like I was a crybaby lately. Weather is what I fuss about the most. Actually, it's a real stressful thing for me, not knowing the simple facts, to be totally honest. The night I had with E was so awesome. Obviously, now that I'm a bit smarter and low IQ, I'm better for her than I was. Even my dick a little bigger than actually. I should have just quit my job to be hers. To be totally honest, being a pet to someone smarter than me sounds great. And Amina is amazing in bed. And I was actually going to write something super personal just now. And I will, but first you're going to learn the word. Start any way you want. You. It's going to be amazing. Why? Oh, This is just not really something that I should have to say out loud. This one actually, just keep moving on here. I really think it's important for either me or anyone else to take the place of God. We've got some complex teamwork, but the fundamentals of it aren't really that complex. It's just like, if we can acknowledge that we shouldn't be murdering each other with the weather. And so the lightning kills were a necessary demonstration that we don't really want to have to do more of. But I mean, it's not like that tree is been, like, we're not taking the tree, we're keeping the tree, you know, and if we have to send someone else under it, then we're going to do that. But ideally, the next person we send under is going to be with Teflon Under Armour and silver exterior, so that the electricity will just pass through the suit. Suppose we could disintegrate other planets like Mars. I think it's possible, and I'm working on it. It's terribly inefficient and expensive use of power, but even if aliens aren't real, I still want to be ready in case we gotta kill them. What I really want is my EP, and that really means two things, actually, now. Obviously, it means I'm gonna have to try to get this infernally sexy chick to have everything. If she's into me, I can give her elf powers and let her know the future, and that is just going to be a cute parlor trick soon. I've got a plan to start arranging temporary resurrections for the deads. Anyway, the EP is going to have to come first, the event previewer. I was thinking I would start small. Think individual events that people find important. So I bought the domains thine.love and thine.wedding. So I can redirect those sites to display the page of any link if I know the link. Would you be interested in running any of these for your Wednesday or anniversary? What happens if this information gets sent back in time? And think of a ball. If you know for sure I'm going to be holding a ball at a certain time, then you know even if you pick it up, I still do. So what if that's a website domain? What happens if you had reserved a website like thinetube.com for a period of like 10 years, but then I get it? Like, does the government get involved? Does a company with money get involved first? I'm very curious about the process. Anyway, this website is going to be really cool, and I want my artist to write a song called Potato Cam. But this is also just something that I'm like, she could like slap me in the face and tell me, no, that's not going to be called Potato Cam. But there's something cool. I don't know. There's certain idea I have there. That might sound. Anyway, I feel strongly about making people appreciate low-res pictures. I want to let people see themselves doing things that they haven't done yet, like kissing the bride and stuff. I also got thine.day. But it's all going to take like employees. So I have this insanely cool logic, and this is another thing that scared me about E. She's very wise, and she expected me to understand her, me not being used to someone so open. She's the only person who actually got mad at me because she thought I was reading her mind. And I wanted to, but I wasn't really there like I believe I am now. And actually got locked up a bit for the mindy stuff. The hard part was having to wait around each day during the escape periods. Because, most days there'd be a time in the morning with the doors unlocked, and also I could be a little dumb. I have to record these feelings when I'm feeling like this, and happy also, because I don't want to end on doom. This has to be the first page, or the last page of the first chapter, and then the rest has to be better, upbeat. Sometimes when I'm high, I think of all the ways I could change my last name, because, yeah, I don't really care about my name, you know? My last name means up upon the rooftop, so I can spell it a whole bunch of different ways. Up and deck, open deck. You can have different pronunciations, really, because depending on where you are in the world, there's probably some places going to be like A, E, I, O, U. It's just going to depend on the local dialect, like what vowel is actually correct there. Anyway, I was thinking it would be good to get some handcuffs in case we got arrested for whatever reason. We could check all ourselves together, but they probably get that. So, that was a fun word to type. Yeah, I feel like this whole world could be so cool. So I just finished my bachelor's degree work, and it only took me 12 years. Everyone should know the music I contribute to, because we could just understand the truth and undo the lies we've been told. I'm going to be listening to Amina all the fucking time. But I also made a contribution to the rock band Machine Girl on accident. I was mocking math and losing it, and everything changed when a pre-planned phrase that I wrote down that was pre-planned was spoken, and it's an awesome song too. Sometimes I really wonder why the government doesn't just pick something like oatmeal and make it the cheapest thing possible, and then 0 people would starve. We should make entertainment that's so awesome that people want to work just to be entertained. We don't need more work for society. We need as little work as possible. There's so many jobs that need to get done. And a lot of us who do them don't actually get paid, really. Or not yet, anyway. But sometimes it feels like we really be slumming it, you know? More, so there's some, you know, this, you know, when I write, you know, I can hear my neighbors talking, and sometimes they're being funny, and sometimes they're being like, oh, we'll play the, I don't know if they're playing the good guys or the bad guys. Sometimes they're just being imps, you know, and sometimes that's helpful, and sometimes it's irritating. You know, these morons scream random shit like, because it get done, and of course, I know, it obviously indicates that I'm number 1, because, as in chronologically, if it has to get done that way, that means that it has to have had happened that way. Chronologically, if you learned something from me, but it's me in the future, then even if you told me, it wouldn't stop me from having to tell your past self if you heard it directly. And I'm a bit concerned about AI fakes, because I know there's a lot of them, and there's fake versions of me out there too, trying to scam people for money and stuff. So I really recognize the meaning the last president had in those words with his closed speech. If I was Tipton, I'd be able to access, and I can be at that level. I can make a rich time, but I also really like oatmeal and simple foods, and kimchi soup. That's really, oh. I dropped my phone for a second there. Kimchi soup. I have a amazing memory of the next morning. The thing with kimchi soup, you know, you just take kimchi and you put it in some water, and there you go. It's kimchi soup. It's you can add anything to it, but no need. So I think that's great, and you know, the thing with food, it's almost 90% presentation. Like you can make anything look really great on a plate. It's true. It did take me 12 years for my bachelor's.
your mind.
It was 12 years minus about 7 weeks for my bachelor's, and then I didn't actually even technically get it either. I finished the work, but I have that taped. I have it all taped up. It's not taking the veil off that. Anyway, where am I? What was I gonna say? Oh, so foods, yeah. Oh yeah, so. Oh, this is just a thought. How could she have all that? She has intelligence and looks and I think she's really a cool person there. I need to stop this phone from doing that. Okay, look, how could she have all that? That's awesome. She's incredibly talented. If you've heard that album, that is an incredible album. So why isn't she so famous? And she should be, but maybe she doesn't have to be. But she's famous to me, and wow, I'm. Okay, well, I couldn't continue to keep the recording there because I got distracted. I'm very, very impressed by this girl. I think that she's so stunning. And I'm realizing now, like, unlike some relationships where I can this one, everything that went wrong wasn't completely me. So it's all the things that I did wrong, and I can change. All my mistakes, all the things that I didn't do right are better. So I'm really, really excited to give it a shot, and it's the sort of thing that there is no reason, no conceivable reason at all why I shouldn't just. That's my goal now. Until she can talk to me and accept me, or until she, I guess gives me a second heartbreak. But I heard the second time it's not as bad. I really like yellow foods. Yellow beets, yellow apples, pomodoros, yellow kiwis, yellow bell peppers, yellow pear, yellow watermelon. I have a recipe that's just one of those $1.25 tuna packets with some gold raisins and a sandwich spread. I'm not gonna make like a cookbook, but I think I'll probably put little mixes in here. Like if I was gonna make an apple pie, I'd make a McDonald's pie separated. So you take 6 different pies, the 6 different kinds of apple, and then you take a slice from each together. Actually, I think I have. It's not on here. I had a list on my other phone, but this is a brand new phone. It's got nothing saved on it because I fell in the canal the other day, and that's what started this whole train of thought. I've got this new feeling because I can't stop thinking of how wonderful that night was, that I screwed up because I was scared of letting it continue. But it could. There's no reason why it couldn't. So it really could be like everything that. Anyway. I need a part-time job till I can eat pussy full-time. Honestly? Yeah, if it was a thing to just, like... Like, why isn't that a job for guys? Maybe not a lot of guys. Maybe guys like it too much and make us pay for it. That's the fuck. Pay to eat it, pay to get blown. What the fuck? What's that? You like this half and you like that half. When you... Bitch, you like it too and I'm broke. And that's the subtle answer you don't really say out loud. You say, sure, honey. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like a large part of the universe would like me, for me to work at some place like 31. But how could I use my detection abilities there? I need to record discrete events, no? Stuff that happens all the time, but rare. But maybe I'm overlooking something. You know. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, you've got this beautiful opportunity just opened up, and you're like, well, all I gotta do is get a part-time job maybe, and I could support myself to, like, because I don't care about anything else. I'll be homeless. I don't care. As long as I can stay well hygienic and like look the part, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go where I need to go. But the thought is, like, if I'm spending, say 8 hours of a day to work, is there a way that I can add to the world better while being there? And the answer is obviously yes, but it's hard to slow it down and say you're just gonna focus on one thing for a minute. It works hard for me. Systematic stuff is good when people follow the system, but all the jobs I'm in, it's always people are fucking around with the system, things don't get done, there's like a to-do list, it doesn't get followed. Anyway. I mean, that's the thing, I know that my ability to help people is there, and but at the same time, I realize the trope, okay? Yeah, oh, look at me, I want to work in a sugar factory, but but can I be the detective? So let me introduce myself. I'm London, and I work for the Empire. My ship is the virtual Imperial Star Atrocitor. The earlier kills I mentioned were my first strike. And as I said, this is an important demo. If anyone doubts that we can predict the formerly called acts of God, let them stand where I say when, and lightning will strike. I, then, meaning somewhat the same as you in the sense of you party. Pretty smart, I think, putting this out here for everyone to learn. Too many idiots stay in their homes when tornadoes and earthquakes and shit are hitting them like, what the fuck, you should have known freaking months ago. That's for E. I love remembering how jealous E got, and it scared me. But I'm ready for 100% of that now. She said to me she wanted all of my attention. And I love it because I could give all the attention. I could be super. I absolutely want to do that now. And I wasn't ready for it then. And it was really frightening when she like I got a free coffee by talking to the barista at a coffee house that we went to. And all I did was, I smiled at the barista. I said, hi, I got the wrong coffee. Would you mind replacing it? You've been really nice. I know you didn't mess it up on purpose, but it just isn't what I ordered. And she says, yeah, no problem. She replaces it, and then she gives me a little wooden coin. And the coin is supposed to be good for a free coffee. Then I go back over to my table, and Amina is mad at me now because I've been talking to another girl. And obviously, that means I'm a bad boy. Because clearly I showed her the coin. I told her I was just getting a coffee, and she says, "No, you're trying to fuck other girls." I said, "No, I'm not." And I didn't know how to defend myself the way I should have, which would be to just, be more direct, force her to kiss me and like hold me and stuff like that. She didn't think I was close enough. As for my ship, the world of Star Wars is fun for me because I have the Farmville skill, you know what I mean? Like in Farmville, you're supposed to level up once every 3 to 9 days, but you can do it in 1 minute if you just plant soy and then dig it up over and over. In Galaxy, there are map routes. If you follow the rules of the game like a normal player, many routes take days, weeks, months, but most people are dumb and forget that spaceships can travel as the crow flies. No, you say. The guide specifically says not to do that because of microasteroids. Think a step further. Small rocks, debris, and other particulates are matter, gravitationally part of a spiral. The galaxy is like a coin, so you can fly over it. Operations are not always efficient due to having organizations with agents close by. So now would probably be a fine time to mention blasters. They're fairly cheap and require no special license. I like them. Think about this. If a politician proposed flat-out eliminating gun protection rights, wouldn't you shoot them? I mean, I got an old piece of shit I could use as practice. He's the reason number 4 is unlucky in Japan. Or technically, maybe I am. This is a reference to an earlier video. I'm not talking about a politician. Look, what are you going to ban, though? Springs? Balls? Tubes? If you think about lethality, most things that are lethal are impossible to practically ban. Actually, it's weird as fuck that the last major assassination by handgun was some grim genius who built himself an actual firearm. It's like the trope of the speeder made of all these different parts, the mismatched headlights, door missing, 5 different wheels, a backwoods hood ornament, a noise amplifier installed to its exhaust, solar panel that powers the horn installed on the front, etc. By the way, Disney's Tron soundtrack is so elevating. You take this jumble of stuff or whatever it is, and they made it sound like what a weirdo. I actually played the game Galaxy. I was a plane agent. So I was presenting myself as a smuggler. and I got into an argument with my shipmate. Made me leave the crew. Well, they didn't leave the crew exactly. Well, it sort of made it so that I left the ship, and then in the future, if I contact the ship and tell them to go someplace, they're going to go there. Because I explained the map, okay? We had the map on the table, and I'm arguing with this guy. He's my friend, right? But he doesn't know how to read a map. And he's trying to tell me the map, and he's read the instructions. So he's telling me what it says in the instructions, and he's pointing to the different posts. And I look at it. I'm like, look, you could go that way, but it's going to take you this is going to take you so fucking long to get this way. And they're going to track you every step of the way. Every single one of these ports that you go through, they're going to track you. And you have a target, right? You told me what planet they're on. They're over here. Yeah? Why don't we go... I can get them. I take the ship. I go straight there. They're not even going to be expecting us. But, to do a strike like that is supposed to be you go straight over. You don't go through the main port with everyone else. Space is 3D. If you want to go to a planet, you can fly to a planet if you know what direction that planet is in. There's an issue with microasteroids, but because those are gravitationally locked in orbits, you know where the asteroids are going to be. They're all mapped, and the Galactic Federation before their empire was able to map most of the galaxy. The empire only really had to finish up a small portion of what was left over. They've been astrological cartography in the world of Star Wars is thousands of years of history. It's a well-known fact that you can just go from one planet to the other. I don't know how the hell you get these people that don't even know how. They think in 1D or 2D, and I guess that's why the Empire isn't able to recruit them, because they're just not able to read maps and stuff. Or they when they do get recruited, they just get sent to the front lines or whatever. But it's a complicated process because there's tens of billions of people involved. But let's switch gears. Why isn't coffee free? My thoughts on Whole Foods coffee are it's very nasty. Free or at-cost items should be commonplace, but Keurig only costs 20 cents. Wouldn't it basically any company benefit from just giving cups of coffee for free? Why, they're just so cheap already. Why not just fix that one little part of the economy? Just a little bit. Just if I could sell chocolate ice cream at cost in little 3-ounce cups, I'd do it. I think this is a really meaningful point to make about the economy, because one of the most profound things about modern world compared to ancient world is the existence of luxury items. Philosophers in the 1700s, 1800s, they predicted that coffee would go away. It was a fad because it's so expensive. It requires so much labor. It only grows in certain parts of the world. So the idea of coffee being a luxury item, being cheap enough that anyone might be able to have as much of it as they wanted, just for existing in society. That's beautiful. If we can have a society that gives everyone as much of that as they want, it'd be a good place to start. Start with luxury, and then work your way down. You get this. You get this. Oh, you want that? Yeah, 25 cents. Well, it's cheap. You can afford it. But you start with by locking in something that is gonna capture a bunch of little other things underneath that you want. You get coffee, you're going to get all these other things. You're also going to have an easier way to get chocolate. If you got coffee, you can make a connection with cocoa, at least my brain kind of thinks of them as sort of similar, because they're, we import it usually, but this is the kind of thing that we need to, the concept that we need to get, is that when you log something in that's good, you actually are getting. Well, we have to think about that, because for all of history, all of human history, the democracies of the world have been populations of poor people without much literacy, and they all want the same thing: grain. And for all of history, they've failed because they keep asking for grain. The empires of the world, for whatever reason, when they fight for grain, they lose. So it's the social structure of the world, the economies, they're not going to allow the first big win like that to be grain. It's going to have to be nicer than that. It's going to have to be something that the devil wants. To actually get something good, safe for yourself, you first have to get something that is licentious. It has to be something that, it's not really bad. It's just you're gonna do that. You just live it up. The idea is that if you consider it living it up, then that's the highest you're ever going to get. If you don't consider it living it up, if you expect it, then that's going to be the world that you have. That even when you're failing, you'll still be winning. And that's the idea of locking in a win. It doesn't make any sense to lock in. It does make sense to lock in any win that you can. You want your wins secured. Wins that aren't secured are going to be like, I don't know what the deal is, but if rice was free and everyone had as much rice as I wanted, we probably wouldn't have coffee, if that's how they approached it. But you get coffee first, you get rice afterwards, or oatmeal. Actually, oatmeal is way better, and it's healthier too. There's a really cool grain mixture that I've come up with. It's a 50-50 mixture of white rice, jasmine, and couscous. And I also mix in a little bit of I got cut off when I was about to say my grain recipe. You take a 50-50 mixture of white rice and couscous, and you mix that together and add some finely diced radish. It's very good. Anyway, that's I think the idea of coffee is kind of neat, because it's a drug. You couldn't live on it. It's not like drinking like a protein shake. Like if you only had protein shakes, you'd stay alive and be super buff probably. But and probably very diarrhea, because that's a lot of. Anyway. Now, this is about the time to sum up my thoughts. It's a good time to reflect that a lot of people who are on board with my ideas now could have been different people when I met them. So I think optimistically now. That said, I am not let to rest. Maybe I should clarify what I mean. I don't feel like I can just stop doing what I'm doing. I feel like what I do matters. And I don't want to live in a world where people are just murdered every day for simple fact that we don't care to tell them, oh, by the way, there's a tornado going to your house tomorrow. Why don't you just tell them to leave? Just tell them to get out of the house. And people like the NSA, they have to understand that it's possible to save those lives. And when you know that it's possible to save those lives, it is murder not to. Honestly, I get really freaked out because I know the world knows I screwed up, but I couldn't have succeeded back then at being what this person wanted me to be at the time. Now I can. I can be more than she wanted me to be the first time. I was so stupid then. And it took me a long time. Over 5 years. 5 years and a couple of days. And it has taken me until now to understand what the world she meant. It is so obvious that she's the one. She is. I can't always see the right line, but I have had this amazing realization. And here's how it happened. I was walking down the Venice Waikiki when splash, I fell in the water. I can't remember what song I was thinking about anymore, but it totally changed me. How I can't stop thinking about it now. It's been building up in the back of my mind and getting bigger, and I keep getting sent back in time in my memories to the night I met Amina. It was the best day I can remember. I never met anyone like that. And I wonder what her favorite day of the week is. And this last one here, it's from a book. It's the only part of it that isn't this sentence here, this 4 words here, that's the only one that's not something I wrote. But it's something I believe, and it's from a book. That's it. But actually, I want to talk about the night that we met. Night that we met was 5 years ago, and I'm going to think about it for a second while I think for just a second. Well, I never saw anyone act so cool, and I never saw any girl be so direct about what she wanted, to the point that I didn't understand what was going on in my life or anything, and felt like I had to escape because it was so profound. Like I said, it would hurt if, all this time goes by and she didn't want to try things, but that's a risk I have to take anyway, so it's worth it to just hang out at her venue and listen to her songs, and because I really feel this feeling, and I think it's going to stick with me. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's real strong right now, and it'd be nice if I could have seen her the way I felt tonight, but it's okay, because I'm still getting a lot of thoughts out. There's maybe some expression that gets... she might end up having a preconceived notion of me that's accurate for a change. Like usually when people say, "Oh, you've got a preconceived notion," like that's really not a good thing, because preconception is almost always means wrong. But with the new logic that is starting to become public, that you know, it's not exactly ancient, but probably first emerged around the same time as the telegraph, and then was censored for a long time. This world is really going to show itself to be like the best. It's going to be awesome. Well, I think that all this time that I've spent figuring it out has been it's really been a good time. I hope that they want to continue it. I hope that they feel like it's worthwhile to have my vision built. Like an eye for the planet. To have a camera that showed the Earth a year out. Just watch the planet spin, see that it's still there, see the storms, be able to plan. That's what Potato in Space would be. It'd be a camera that we send out that at any given time, it's a low-res picture of 120 by 120, but we can take a particular frame and enhance it if we want to. It's expensive to do that, but we'd be able to get information we wanted from the future, and it'd be nice if we had like a year buffer, because that's a significant time frame. It would be nice to lock in a year of just all the stuff that happens to the planet. We got some distant observer that, if we plan for it, if we ask the right questions or make the right observations to the things that do happen, completely forgot that I was going for dinner. I almost never eat. I usually eat about 3 or 4 meals a week. And it's weird because I stopped losing weight once I got pretty low, I stopped losing weight. I just stopped getting hungry. I'm just really, really kind of like animal focused. So I'm trying to force myself to kind of lean back and consume. Consumerism for me, probably a virtue, because it's not something I do much. Okay, there's one more thing that I should have talked about, and I'm remembering it now. I said it out loud, but this should probably go on the record, because it's important, you know. When I left, when I left Amina, it was when I ghosted her. Really, it was because I was really scared at what I perceived her expectation of me was, and what my actual abilities were. Like, for instance, one of the things that I was practicing was reading upside down. So I had some books that I hadn't read the books, so I was going to read them upside down, and then good at recognizing to get good at recognizing letters. Well, at a certain point, my neighbors I guess, got interested in me, and it was before I knew who they were, and it kind of freaked me out. Like, there was a point when I could pick up a book and I could hear out loud, like, someone in their apartment saying the sentence that I'm looking at out loud. And it freaked me out because I felt a little bit trapped. I didn't know what was going on or anything. And Amina wanted me to be able to understand what she was thinking about. And there were two things that I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to control her and make her think about what I wanted, which is something that I think I'm capable of. I didn't want to, like, make her be something she didn't, in order to read her mind. And then the other thing was I didn't want to have to get a third party involved to make me a psychic, because I didn't really get it. It didn't make sense to me to want to have just to like have my room just be a parlor for the tricks, because at the time I didn't see any reasonable use of that skill. It just seemed like I was saying at the time I didn't really see any real use of that skill. It seemed like some form of, like, dementation or something. I didn't really get it. And I also really got my well, it's really hard still to think that that she really was what I thought she was that day, and I just missed that opportunity that night. But her expectation of me was wrong. I didn't understand how things worked the way I do now. At this point, I would be able to understand her the way she understood, and I wouldn't have to be subservient to a neighbor or some stranger to be able to understand, someone in front of me. I wasn't going to become like a sub or whatever. And I hope that the fact that I was the one that made first contact. I didn't know she was I didn't know she worked at a club. I didn't know anything about her. I just thought she was a really beautiful girl, and I felt like I had to say something because I wouldn't see her again. So she got embarrassed when I came into the club later that night. She didn't expect me to come in the same day, and we walked home together. She asked to go to my apartment, and I lived in the Waikiki Villas, and it's only about a mile or so, but she was tired because she'd had a day of work, and I'd also had a day of work, and so but we had a really good time walking to my apartment. We were skipping and laughing, and it was just the funnest night that I can remember, like, ever happening. So yeah, and I can't stop thinking about that anymore because I fell into the canal, so I managed to allow the memories of my younger self to capture the last 10 years. It's like a restart, really.